Mike Adams.
Welcome back to the Illinois State Fair in Springfield, Illinois. We always look forward to visiting with Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan, and she has joined us again here at the fair. Good to see you. How are things going?
Things are going well, but you know, they're difficult for everybody, and that's no different if you're the Attorney General. In these tough times, you see a lot of increased complaints, both in terms of the financial harm as well as the physical harm that people have to endure.
I was going to ask you, do you get a lot more scams and people trying to take advantage of people during tough economic times like this?
Absolutely. So unfortunately, you know, there's a group of people, if they can't make money legitimately, will find illegitimate ways to profit. And recently, just the other week, we actually charged a man who was operating in the Springfield area, really scamming people, saying, hey, I'll provide you with lawn care services, scammed nearly $9,000 out of people, got them into contracts. People had paid. Guy never showed up, never did any work. So people have to be really leery. If somebody approaches you, particularly at your home, offering any type of services for your home, for your property, be very, very careful. I would say go out for a bid, talk to your neighbors, you know, talk to the Better Business Bureau, the Illinois Attorney General's office before you make any of those decisions.
How is the battle against meth labs going? I know you've worked hard on that here in Illinois.
It continues. So, you know, when we put the law in place requiring people to have to show their ID to purchase pseudoephedrine-containing medication, we saw a significant drop, nearly a 55% decrease in the number of labs. Over the last few years, though, meth makers have changed their production methods. And so instead of using, you know, large amounts of cold medication, they now do it in these small pots. So really they can just use basically, you know, what's a pop bottle and put that together. They call it kind of the shake and bake method, and they can make much smaller batches, but they're able to do it by purchasing the legal amount that's allowed every month. And so we're still seeing meth labs out there. Yes, they're smaller. Yes, they're not producing as much meth, but it still continues to be a problem. And so we're still having to think of innovative ways to go after it.
But I know there's a lot of concern by consumers. Is it going to keep getting harder to just get our cold medicine over the counter?
Well, that's a really great question. And so there are a number of states right now that have changed the law that require prescriptions to receive, you know, the Sudafed, the pseudoephedrine-containing medication. Oregon's done that, and there's one other state. It's something that I haven't been in favor of because far too many people, I mean, at what point are you making the hurdle too great for law-abiding citizens, which, you know, the majority of us are. But what we have done is there's a piece of legislation awaiting the governor's signature that will require that if you've been convicted of a meth offense, that you have to get a prescription in order to get that pseudoephedrine-containing medication. Because what we see when we look at the list of people who've been blocked, their sales have been blocked because they're trying to purchase more than the monthly limit. It does contain individuals who've previously been convicted of meth offenses. Our assumption is that's what these folks are up to. They're just trying to, you know, get the limit that they can get, make the small amount of meth for themselves, and unfortunately, we have to put a stop to that as well.
All right, before we let you go, we're going to do a little demonstration here. I realize this is radio, although if you go to AgriTalk.com, you can see the video. One of the things you're pushing on here is a call for a national recall on dangerous fuels gel products, and we have a demonstration here. What are we talking about?
Well, fuel gel, most people don't recognize the dangers of it. It acts as if it's an over-the-counter napalm. And so over the past few years, we've seen an increase in the sale of what are known as fire pots. They're these, you know, smallish, decorative pots that have a metal container in the middle. You fill that metal container up with the fuel gel and then you light it. My understanding is the benefit is it's outside and it won't go out even in the wind, unlike a candle. So people who are outside in the evening or having a party, they like to light these. Unfortunately, what happens in most of the injuries that have occurred, and there have been about 60 of them across the country, is that it appears that the gel is no longer lit. And so when that is either still lit or the pot is still hot, an individual will pour more of the fuel gel in, and that causes a terrible explosion where the flaming ball of fire gel literally leaps out of this, you know, small metal container, and it doesn't just necessarily burn the person who's pouring the fuel gel in, it's burned other people, serious, life-threatening. In some cases, you know, we know of at least 2 in the country where people have lost their lives. We know of at least 5 people in the state of Illinois who have serious second, third degree burns on their face, usually their upper torso. And another thing, if you do end up getting lit on fire by this fire gel, it doesn't extinguish itself the way we've all learned to deal with fire, which is the stop, drop, and roll. And you try to lie down, it just spreads the fire more and causes you further injuries.
So specifically, what are you calling for then?
Right now, the Consumer Product Safety Commission has recalled one manufacturer's brand of the fuel gel. The injuries that we're starting to see are being caused by a different manufacturer. We want the CPSC to recall these fire gels. They're simply not safe. People don't understand the dangers involved, and we don't want to see anybody in the state of Illinois die or be severely injured because of it.
All right, Lisa, thank you very much. Always good to see you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mike, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Illinois Attorney General Lisa Madigan. All right.